Boom! That's right, Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyric. Ladies and gentlemen, I am joined here by Derek from Sega. How has PAX been treating you, man?
Oh, it's been awesome. It's day 2, and I'm so excited to be here still.
Yeah, well, you guys are just over in the booth next to us there, and I've been seeing a bunch of people running around with Sonic Boom bags, so people have been coming out and playing the game, huh?
Oh yeah, it's going like crazy, and the oversized bags really helps with all the swag that they've been getting here. So yeah, it's a very popular item here.
All right, sweet. So if you guys are on the floor here at PAX, you can of course try Sonic Boom both here at the Next Level booth and over at the Sega booth just to the side. However, though, let's talk a little bit about this game. You guys have done some crazy, cool, unique things here in the Sonic universe. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Sonic Boom is a new branch in the Sonic universe. And in Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric, Sonic and his friends Amy, Knuckles, and Tails, they must team together, use their special abilities to take down an all-new enemy named Lyric. He's a snake-like villain with robotic armor. There's also Dr. Eggman, which is part of the competition that we're going to see in a little bit.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Now, you mentioned you can control all of our favorite characters. It's not like you choose one at the beginning of a level. No, you can switch between them at any given point in time, right?
Yeah, that's correct. So if you want to use Sonic Speed, you can use him. If you need to get somewhere far-reaching, you can use Amy and her acrobatic skills. Knuckles, he's got brute force. He can swing. He can swing around. He can burrow underground. He can climb walls. And Tails has his buddy bot, so he can come out and help take down enemies when he's fighting enemies.
Awesome,
yeah.
Very cool. So different abilities, and I'm sure you guys are going to see those during our Dr. Eggman boss battle that happens a little bit later. But you know, Sonic was always built on speed and spinning in obstacles and picking up rings. But you guys have started to do some cool new things as well, including the introduction of what you guys call the Enter Beam. So can you describe that a little bit and kind of how you use that in this game?
Oh yeah. So for instance, I mean, the world is very expansive. It's the game is built for exploring, and the Enter Beam is very useful in this type of setting. So the Enter Beam is actually an electronic beam that comes out of their wrists, and they can actually pull shields from enemies and take it away so they can attack them and they'll be more vulnerable. That you can use it to zip line across vast parts of the environment, and you can also use it to access different parts of the world that are hidden. And actually, in the boss battle that we'll be seeing soon, we'll be using the Enter Beam to pick up some missiles to throw at Dr. Eggman to take his mech machine down.
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to that. Now, finally, and probably most importantly as well, I know people are going to want to get their hands on Sonic Boom. When can they expect it to come out, and what should they be looking for now for more information?
Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric is coming out November 18th, and for more information on the game, go to sonicthehedgehog.com.
Boom, there you go, guys, sonicthehedgehog.com, and I think our competitors are ready now, so we're actually going to jump into the competition here right now, starting with our first competitor in 3, 2, 1, go! All right, so here we are. This is a boss battle against Dr. Eggman, of course. And thank you very much, Derek. We do appreciate it again, guys. SonicTheHedgehog.com for everything you want to know about Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. So this is Dr. Eggman, and I'm joined alongside by Anna Prosser. We're going to commentate this for you. How's it going, Anna? All right, well...
What's up, Kevin?
Well, let's see here. Dr. Eggman is up at the moment. We have our first member here from Team Aerodactyls. I believe this was his #1 overall pick as well. High expectations, and they are being met.
Nice.
Did you just see that? That was 4 shots in like 5 seconds there. A great performance in the first stage of Dr. Eggman.
So this is just the end of the first phase, right? And we're looking at 3 phases with Dr. Eggman?
Very nice, very nice.
Is correct. So as you saw right there, once they launch those rockets with the Enter Beam into Dr. Eggman, they all have to use their Enter Beam to pull him to the ground and then start smacking him in the face as much as possible. Now we're on to the second phase, though, and he's not just going to launch rockets. No, he's going to drop enemies on the ground, and he's going to charge at you as well.
And it looks like this player is choosing to use mostly Sonic, not switching frequently between the players, which we talked about as a potential strategy. When you get stunned, you may want to switch to a new player, then using Amy, now switching back to Sonic. How would you do that if you were in his place, Kevin?
You know, he's way better at this game than I am, just watching his control right here. So my strategy throughout this, he's
second phase.
This is crazy. He's going to move on to the third phase here in just a second. At this point, I would be struggling to land the third rocket at him.
Right.
Now, my strategy was to switch between the characters aggressively to make sure they weren't being shot or chased by Dr. Eggman the entire time. But he's been doing really well just sticking on Sonic and landing good shots.
And he's actually very intelligently using Sonic's kind of dodge roll move. I know I watched Steve play earlier, and he was using that almost consistently consistently, so perhaps he's coached his player to use that move, but his player is using it definitely more selectively than Steve was yesterday.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. But look at that.
Pulling
the
down.
third phase is down. This is the quickest run of this boss that I have seen, period, amongst any of us so far. Yeah, even faster than you, Scott. I called it out, all right? This guy is awesome, all right? Anyway, so that is actually going to be the completion of this speed run. Now, you do have to collect a crystal right at the end as well, so they'll make sure to grab that. We'll move on to the next one here in just a second, but what a performance from Team Aerodactyls.
Yeah, and that crystal is important. Remember yesterday when Sir Scoots and Crystal Siren were playing against each other, they tied almost exactly on the end of that third phase. But Crystal unfortunately forgot that she had to grab that crystal, and Scott grabbed it before her and got that first pick yesterday. So don't forget that, players.
And that may have actually come in handy, as Scott did take the entire day yesterday,
Absolutely.
too. So Team Aerodactyls comes out very strong, and it looks like we're about ready to move on to our second competitor here in just a second. The signal us whenever they're ready. Here we go in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so they have actually started. All right, so looks like our player has loaded up into the game, and it is going to be Team Mecca that's going to be next. So
so Linda's team.
That's right.
All right, so we have the bottom two. We had Steve go and Linda go, and those are the two that do not have someone in the final so far, right? We've already
That is
got one.
correct. So for 6 elimination rounds so far, 6 elimination rounds over the past couple of days, Team Scoots, Team Trolls, they've taken them all. Team Mecca, Team Aerodactyls, they're looking to get on the board here.
And this might be the game to do it. It looks like a fairly strong start. Oh, dropping those rockets. You got to grab them and chuck them.
This is another very efficient performance so far. So
wow.
I think what I'm really finding out watching all these people play is that I'm bad at Sonic Boom, and they're way better than me because everything they're doing is impressing me right now.
It's a fun boss fight because, you know, a lot of times with these bosses, you've got phases, you've got attacks, all of that, but generally sometimes it can be a bit repetitive. Here you've got lots of things to think about, lots of techniques to use, and you can start to strategize about what's going to be fastest and most efficient. Here we see that somebody grabbing, you know, making sure not to get hit by rockets, of course, and grabbing rockets quickly, chucking them at the Dr. Eggman robot quickly is going to give them advantage, making sure that they move through the phases quickly.
And the second phase is already down once again. So these are back-to-back great performances from Team Aerodactyls and Team Mecca. To note there, Sonic actually grabbed the rocket as it was flying at him, threw it back around, and hit Dr. Eggman before the rest of the rockets were able to catch up to him.
And Linda looking very happy. I know she's really wanting to get on the board, have a player in the final so that she can win $5,000 for her charity.
That's absolutely right. And I've got to admit, I would love to see today a representative from each of the teams in the finals, see a real battle royale and all of these charities on the line there.
Absolutely. I wonder how close this time will be to the Team Aerodactyls time. I think we're looking at something that's pretty close as long as they can finish out this third phase here very quickly.
And this phase is pretty difficult because not only does Dr. Eggman charge at you and start knocking out those rockets. Oh, it's a miss there. 2 misses, unfortunately. Wow. There we go, starting to land a couple of hits. But he starts doing a lot more advanced attacks. He'll start stomping on the ground and creating a big wave of damage that'll fly out. He's got much more powerful minions assisting him. His rockets are a little bit more aggressive, so everything just gets a bit tougher here, as you can see.
And he's getting stamped on. It looks like this delay may be taking them past the time of Team Aerodactyls. I don't know if we have any insight on that time, but I'm getting the feeling. What do you think, Kevin? Oh, we're pulling him down at the end of the third phase, so it is going to be close.
He is pulling him down right now, but I think Team Aerodactyls is a bit quicker here in this competition. So we'll obviously wait on the official results here in just a second. But this was still a very good performance from Team Mecca.
Unfortunately, it was that last phase that got him. It looked like having to deal with all of those different minions, all of the rockets, the cannonballs that start coming out was a little bit difficult. Kevin, what would you do? Do you ignore the minions and try to just as quickly as you can grab the rockets, or are you wasting time actually getting hits onto those minions and making sure that they stay away from your teammates?
Well, my strategy yesterday was a little bit of like an in-between of those. So I would intentionally run someone really close and try and grab a bunch of minions and have them start to kind of aggro me a little bit. And then I'd swap to another character sitting next to the rockets who's completely free of minions and just start hurling them at Dr. Eggman.
Very smart. Well, we'll see if the strategy of Linda's team, Team Mecca, was able to bring them out on top. Linda is, of course, in red, and Team Aerodactyls went last in green.
And it looks like that team was 3 minutes and 19 seconds 03. So 3:19:03. We'll see what the first time was as well so we can compare it against that, but that will be our time to beat right now until we know the first time. So Looks like our competitors are about to move into the next map as well, and they are about queued to go.
It looks like we're going to have Team Trolls with Crystal as coach wearing the pink. I believe they're going to be our next competitors, and sounds like they're ready, so shall we watch?
Here we go. So 3, 2, 1, go! All right, and the third one has started here for Team Trolls. So we do have the official times for Team Aerodactyls, 2 minutes, 43 seconds, 0.9.
Wow.
So a 36-second improvement over Team Mecca.
So a very small amount of time, but substantial in terms of video games. So very solid win so far from Team Aerodactyls.
Okay, we'll see if Team Trolls can turn things around now. I see Siren behind her competitor looking fiercely at the screen as she wills damage from her player.
And you know, both Crystal and Scott have mentioned how shooters are their forte, so these games might be a little less familiar to them, but already taking down that first phase, I think that they are starting to learn more about Sonic Boom than we have had the chance to do. Kevin,
I think
what do
you're
you think?
absolutely correct, as all three of the first waves so far have been very quick, and this is no exception. It's a great time set by Team Trolls right now, and we'll see if they can keep it up through the second phase.
Was that a brief hiccup I saw where we needed to make those, what are the beams called again, Kevin?
The enter beams.
The enter beams. We needed to have the enter beams pulling down Dr. Eggman. It looked like a brief hiccup that may have wasted just a couple seconds on something that is between the first and second phases.
That's right, and while you're using the enter beam, if there are minions around, you can still get hit and it'll break the enter beam and you have to reactivate it. So you still have to be careful about where you're starting to use that enter beam. So again, pretty efficient here. That's 2 rockets landed already. Looks like he's already ready to use the enter beam once again. A super quick second phase as well.
We are going to see some fierce competition here. Again, the spread is only about 30-some seconds between the first and second places right now. So if Crystal's team can pull it out, they still have a great chance of winning this particular elimination round.
Now, as we saw, though, it really came down to this third phase in determining who was able to start take the victory home. Because I believe Team Aerodactyls is able to defeat us with just 1 set of rockets. They didn't actually need to wait for a second blast from Dr. Eggman. And it looks like we are going to have to wait for a second set of rockets here. This could potentially slow down Team Trolls.
Wow, grabbing that rocket out of the air again, like you mentioned, something that is pretty difficult to do and does increase your speed. But after grabbing that rocket out of the air, getting hit, missing a couple rockets, and again, wasting just a few precious seconds.
That's right. And unfortunately, Sonic gets hit a couple of times there, so it slows down the enter beam pull. But this was still a pretty efficient, pretty quick run here. Of course, they need to beat up Dr. Eggman here. They need to collect the crystal, and then the time will end. We'll grab that time for you guys and let you know how it compares.
The important thing is that Sonic and his friends recover that beautiful gem, of course.
Oh,
and as
yes.
soon as they do, we will get an official time and find out whether Team Trolls was able to come out on top. Looks like I see Crystal shaking her head in disappointment and patting her competitor on the back. I think that may mean that we do not have a sooner time. No, I'm seeing an admin shake their head. Team Aerodactyls is still in the lead after that round, Kevin.
There you go. We will get the official time, but Team Aerodactyls holding strong, and it comes down to Team Scoots to see if we can keep the Siren Scoots complete ownage of this entire event going. Team Aerodactyl, so looking poised to move on.
I think I'm hearing that the official time was 2:58:09.
And that is going to be about 15 seconds behind Team Aerodactyl, so not quite enough to win the challenge.
But still an impressive time. Very quick compared to not only our times, but competitors yesterday. So people are really practicing, getting to know this game and improving.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And now it comes down to Team Scoots. And Scott, if you remember, yesterday won the Coaches Challenge at Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. So you know he's got some good wisdom to impart to his player right now. And it looks like we're ready to get going. So let's begin the competition in 3, 2, 1, go! All right, so we're going to load into this one more time. Team Scoots competitive there. Big smile on her face, and I'm ready for this.
There is a lot on the line right now because I was just talking to Steve, who's very passionate personally about his charity, the March of Dimes.
Absolutely.
Yesterday, he did not even have a chance in the finals. Not one of his players got into that final round. We had only players from Team Trolls and Team Scoots in that final. So for Steve, this moment is really important. He's probably crossing his fingers and hoping that his player's time is good enough to sustain him and get at least one of his players into that final round.
All right, and as you saw, the player for Team Scoots out to a very strong start.
Wow.
Was able to intercept 1 rocket as they were flying in, and then immediately follows up with 3 in a row for a basically perfect phase 1.
And he's already got fans sitting around him cheering.
Oh, but she actually ended up dying there because of the last couple of hits from a minion that will temporarily slow things down by about 5 or 6 seconds. Again, this is really going to come down to how quickly she can clear that third phase, though. We're moving into the second phase now. She still needs a good time here.
Every second is crucial, and of course, a death is one of the most frustrating ways to waste seconds. But she can make those up by grabbing rockets very quickly here and shooting them. Oh, and again, knocked down.
I employed a strategy yesterday of jumping off the edge of the map just to see how it would go. Didn't end up being that successful, unfortunately. Oh, and this is actually a big setback. Our other competitors were able to finish off Dr. Eggman in the first salvo of rockets. She actually had to wait for the second. Now, she can pick up some time in the third and final set, but unfortunately, she gets hit by a minion just at the last second. It prevents the enter beam from actually pulling Dr. Eggman to the ground.
Now moving into that third phase, she's really going to have to make up some time, make sure she gets all of these hits in very quickly so Dr. Eggman will recuperate, stand back up, and begin stomping about.
All right, so here we go. Needs a salvo of rockets, and it looks like there we go. Very nice job. Lands one shot there. Unfortunately, takes some hits from rockets off to the side. Lands a second one. Needs to grab a third. Gets it. Can she get a fourth? That's a very clean third phase. Is that going to be enough for her to be able to make up the time that's required, though?
Kevin, I'm going to run over to the main stage because I want to make sure to talk to the winner, whoever it may be, right after this third phase. Let's cross our fingers and see if one of our judges not yet represented in the finals will make it.
All right, so it's going to come down to this right now. The final time. We'll see what that's going to be. Team Aerodactyl, of course, set a 2:43.90. That is the time to beat right now. And we'll find out what the final time is. I've got to say, great performance from a lot of our competitors, so that is genuinely some very awesome Sonic Boom play there. The players have obviously been watching this game over the past couple of days, and it looks like we do actually have a victory for the Team Aerodactyls there, so congratulations. Steve Zaragoza is on the board. One of his teammates is moving into the finals today, so there you go. That means that we finally have a non-Siren, non-Team Scoots member in the finals. Congratulations right there. And that means 3 of our 4 coaches are actually represented in the finals today. So very cool stuff. It looks like we are ready to go to jump over to the interview, though, with the winner. So, Anna, take it away.
Anesu, congratulations. Let's hear it for some Sonic Boom. Amazing gameplay. That was a very... Oh, is that the Aerodactyl?
Yeah.
You'll have to teach me that later. That's beautiful. All right. How did you strategize going into this match so that your time would be the fastest?
Well, as you guys saw, the rockets in the air were my first hit, and then afterwards I kind of rolled around in circles to make sure the rockets were all beside me, and then toss them up one by one. The key is to wait for like a second and then toss it. Rather than like wait for it to spin around, just toss it right away.
So very strategic. Steve, was that part of your coaching, or did you learn from Anesu himself?
I mean, I feel like I gave him some good pointers right off the bat, but he really came to his own. He knew exactly what to do once the enemies were around, too. He knew to stay as far away as possible from the spawned enemies. I mean, I gave him a little bit of stuff in the beginning, but that was all him in the tournament there.
You done a lot of practice to find out those specifics?
A little bit, like 4 or 5 rounds, just to see how much my timing was, and then from there I was like, okay, I'm good. Play too much, I'll probably end up doing worse, right? So
overthinking it. Very wise, very wise. All right, Steve, this is your first player in the final round, so you know that at least one of your players is going to be represented there, and you still have a chance to win $5,000 for your charity. How does that feel?
I'm very excited. I mean, yesterday it was tense. I mean, I feel like I'm one of the new guys, so it's like, I don't know if I'm up against these veterans over here. And so I think I made a wise choice. Being able to choose first in the beginning for the coaches challenge, I think was a good advantage. Picking Anesu here, I think I got a good chance here. Feel very good.
Anesu, you were the first pick, so now you are going to the finals. Are you confident that you're going to be able to pull out a win for Team Aerodactyls?
Well, I said I would, so I might as well do it, right?
Sounds good to me. All right, well, we have 3 coaches represented in the finals. Let's see if we can get all 4 of them represented with more competition after this.